I think it seems to be more family based in this block, and then next door seems to be people who live alone. We're lucky because we've got our own little area that's kind of attached to the back of the flat. Quite a lot of neighbours that we liked have left recently, and new families have moved in. But you don't really see anyone from the next door flat. You just don't get to see them. And they seem to be quite different types of people who live there. Although it's the same fabric, the buildings are the same. It's good for us, I suppose. I mean, I suppose you get to speak to more people than you would do if you lived in a terrace block, or if you lived in a semi-detached. You interact and see more people coming and going than normal. But they don't tend to use the outside space an awful lot, and that's where you'll tend to meet them. You tend to talk to them and stuff like that. And because it's quite a small flat, then I tend to use the back garden to sort of chill out quite a bit. Because we've got the bedroom on the ground floor, then we tend to find passing through the bedroom to get to your garden is strange. Making artwork always needed a different space away from a domestic space, and probably more so now we've got children. Got a small little study area in the bedroom. That's probably where I sit down. I've always retreated into kind of corners and stuff. I quite like corners so I can sort of get away for a little bit. So that's a space no one tends to go in. Like, if I had it my way, I'd live in a little wooden hut, probably 10 times the size of the Wendy house that I built out there. I just kind of want a log burner and a wooden hut. It's quite a romantic idea. That would do me more than anything else. Does this place reflect me? I suppose it must do, but I think it's more the wife than it is me. I think it will probably be clutter would characterise our house. Not to say it's bad clutter and that, but it's very full. We're suckers for second-hand furniture and boot sales and stuff. So, and if we see something we like, we tend to get it, and now we haven't got the space to put it in. So I would say it was the things that were in them, more than the rooms themselves. I've become more domesticated than at any point in my life since Polly's been born, in the last 2 or 3 years. Or I was at a French studio, I spent less time here up until when Polly was born. And sometimes I tend to reclude into that little space and sort of to get away from. I suppose I'm scared of being domesticated really, but I've kind of given myself up to it. Like, I'm kind of I'm caveman or wooden hut man, and I'm happy with that. But obviously you can't have a family in those environments. We were out yesterday on the coast and you come back and it becomes, a little haven. You're grateful for it. I suppose if I had to describe my house in 3 words, I'd probably think it was a cluttered retreat. Virtually every bit of furniture is found as opposed to you would come across it as opposed to going out looking for it really. So we sort of scour the city or whatever and skips and stuff. I'm a strong believer that we should be able to build our own houses where we want. That a man should have the right to build his own dwelling space without permission of the authorities and living space. And so for her birthday we wanted to build her a Wendy house. And I wanted to build it myself because I didn't want to buy a kit or a plastic one. So I built it with reclaimed material that I found around the city. I mean, I loved building it. Like, I'd like to build a much bigger one and live in it, really. So people sort of said, "You're building that for your daughter, or are you building it for you?" And I made it so high enough so I could kind of stand up in it, and I made it long enough so that I could sleep in it with her, because she wanted to sort of camp in it. So it's a mini me, yeah.